Today is Saturday, May 31st. If you've ever felt like you simply don't have time to read, or you're not sure what to read next, then this episode is for you. Today, we're talking about how to fit reading into our busy lives this summer, and why it matters for your mind, mood, and even your sense of self. My guest is Zibby Owens, founder of Zibby Media, which includes the award-winning daily podcast Totally Booked with Zibby, Zibby Publishing in New York, and Zibby's Bookshop in Santa Monica, California. She's also the author of 6 books. Today, she's sharing strategies to help us all make space for books, even in the margins of your day. And later, she's offering some of her top summer picks, books that'll make you think, smile, or just totally escape. Welcome to the Newsworthy Special Edition Saturday, when we sit down with a different expert or celebrity every Saturday to talk about something in the news. Don't forget to tune in every Monday through Friday for our regular episodes, when we provide all the day's news in just 10 minutes. It's fast, fair, fun, and on the go. I'm Erica Mandy. It's time for today's Special Edition Saturday. You ready? Let's do this. So your podcast is called Totally Booked. I know it used to be called Moms Don't Have Time to Read Books. I think both titles are really creative and relatable. So what inspired these titles and how has the meaning evolved for you over time?
When I first started out, I had 4 small children. I was really struggling to find time to do anything. And I was writing some essays about the state of motherhood and how really impossible it feels at times. And after about a year, I had enough that I could pitch a book. And when I mentioned this to my now husband and we started talking about it, I was like, oh, moms don't have time to read books. And then I thought, oh, that's so funny. That's what I'll call my book. Well, it didn't become a book because I guess publishers didn't find that funny, but it did become the name of my podcast, which I originally started to quote unquote grow my platform because I wasn't on social media, I didn't have any followers, and I was just another person in the world. And that's why I started it. But as soon as I did, I fell in love with podcasting and the rest sort of faded.
I love that as a fellow podcaster. But, I want to know, as a mom of 4 and a busy media entrepreneur, as you soon became, how did you and do you actually carve out time to read? What practical tips can you give other parents trying to make space for books?
I am not precious about when and where and how much I read at a time. I mean, I shouldn't recommend people doing this at home, but I'm just going to say I read while I'm waiting for the pancakes to rise in the morning in the pan. I read while I'm in the car dropping the kids to school, not while driving, though. That would be crazy. Although I do sometimes listen to audiobooks, but I fit it in. And also reading is part of my job. So if I have a podcast the next day, I can sit at my desk and justify spending an hour lost inside a book. So I think you have to make it something that is a passion, and passions take up time in your life. I have also eliminated lots of other things that would have taken the same time, perhaps things that might be better for me, like say exercise. But instead, this is my wellness, and it's also my sanity. It's also taken the place of therapy. This is not good. I'm coming out really bad. But this is my thing, and it's also how I relax, and so I crave it. And when you crave something, think about how often you fit social media into your life. If you're on Instagram and you're always checking, a few minutes here and there adds up. So those minutes, yes, I also am on social media, but I carry a book with me wherever I go. I religiously read every night before bed for usually half an hour, sometimes more if I can't put the book down. And I just build it in. And I create fake deadlines for myself, like the entire podcast is a way to fit reading in my life. So sometimes having accountability, like joining a book club or having a friend who's reading the same book. And even my son, he and a buddy of his, they have a nightly page count goal that they do. So I think finding ways to trick yourself to accomplishing reading as a goal like anything else.
And even if you're not as passionate about reading as you are, Zibby, for someone listening, you mentioned social media. Instead of scrolling all the time, maybe you have that book nearby, and it's really a matter of just having the book nearby to remember to grab that instead of your phone.
100%. That's why I feel like I always read in bed, because I know that when I climb into bed at night, there will be something waiting for me, and it's not demanding anything of me. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to answer to anybody or get anybody a glass of water. At that point, that is my time, and I can open it up and just relax into it. So I view reading as a treat. And honestly, you don't have to read a lot to get the benefit of it. You can read 2 pages and then fall asleep, and still it will change your brain and your life.
Right. Maybe not having some of the pressure of how much you have to read would be helpful. That's a really good point. So if someone has tried reading, but it's like they've only tried nonfiction and that's not interesting, or they've only done fiction and are kind of sick of that, do you recommend that people read a variety of types of books?
I do. And I also think the most important is not reading the books you feel like you are supposed to read or that you should read. Books that maybe other people are like, this is the most important read, or you feel obligated. No one likes doing anything out of a sense of obligation. So forget all of that. And if you want to just read memoirs by celebrities and actors and actresses and spend the whole weekend, like, go for it. If you want to read scientific theories on whatever, go for that. If you want to read beach read fiction, try it. If you want literary poetry, try that. It's okay. You can definitely switch genres. Know it is holding you to a certain genre. And I think having all of it mixed together makes for a much more interesting meal of books, so to speak. When you have dinner, you have different courses. And I feel like different genres of books add to a complete meal in the way that different courses add to a restaurant experience.
It's such a good point, because when I first started a business, I thought I had to read all the business and entrepreneur books. And after a while, it was like, okay, I'm really sick of this. And so it was like, now I just want to read something for fun.
Yeah. I mean, I still feel bad sometimes when like a big book club has picked a book and everyone's reading it. And I'm like, you know what? It still doesn't sound good to me. Like, I read the first chapter and I didn't like it. And I'm sorry. I know like half the world loves it, but the other half doesn't, and I'm in that camp. So it's okay. It's okay if you don't like it. There's nothing wrong with you if you don't like a popular book. Just read what you want to read. Life is short.
And that's a good point, too, because it sounds like you're willing to stop reading a book if you're not feeling it.
Oh, 100%. Yes. Don't keep reading if you don't like it. I like to give a book at least 50 pages, but actually, sometimes I only give it like a page. But if it's not going anywhere after about 50 pages, that's enough. I'll just put it down. I got what I needed out of it.
Still ahead, books that will make your summer smarter, happier, or just a little more fun. Zibby shares her top summer picks, from feel-good stories and escapist beach reads to books that will really make you think. Plus, why she says reading is one of the best ways to combat loneliness and enrich your life. That's next. But first, a break for our sponsors. One easy way that I've found to make sure my kiddo is getting the nutrition he needs is with Hiya's children's vitamins. In fact, even before they became a sponsor, I was giving my son their best-selling children's vitamins and the Hiya probiotics already. Why? Well, most children's vitamins seem basically like candy in disguise, but not Hiya. Hiya has 0 sugar and 0 gummy junk. They're instead pediatrician-approved chewables that my son seriously looks forward to having every morning. Plus, I appreciate that every single batch is third-party tested for heavy metals and microbials in a qualified GMP-compliant lab using scientifically validated testing methods. Oh, and if you're tired of battling with your kids to eat their greens, Hiya now has Kids Daily Greens Plus Superfoods. It's a chocolate-flavored greens powder designed specifically for kids, packed with more than 55 whole food ingredients to support brain power, development, and digestion. Just scoop, shake, and sip with milk or any non-dairy beverage for a delicious and nutritious boost your kids will actually enjoy. We've worked out a special deal with Hiya for their best-selling children's vitamin. Receive 50% off your first order. Yeah, half off. To claim this deal, you must go to hiyahealth.com/newsworthy. This deal is not available on their regular website, so go to hiyahealth.com/newsworthy, hiyahealth.com/newsworthy, and get your kids the full body nourishment they need to grow into healthy adults. The Newsworthy is also brought to you by OneSkin. If you don't already know, my go-to skincare is now OneSkin. I love the feel of all their products on my skin, and I feel like it's the most efficient way to get results. Between work, kids, errands, and everything else, a 10-step skincare routine is not my priority. But with OneSkin, I know I'm still getting everything I need and deserve for my skin. Their products are multitaskers, hydrating, protecting, and supporting my skin's long-term health thanks to their OS1 peptide. It targets the cells that accelerate the visible signs of aging, like wrinkles, thinning skin, and dull complexion. OneSkin supports the skin at a deeper level, so even if I'm running on fumes, I know my skin is still getting the best. I've even been taking their moisturizers and sunscreens with me to travel because they're exactly what I need every day, no matter what. And for a limited time, you can try OneSkin with 15% off using my code NEWSWORTHY at oneskin.co. OneSkin is the world's first skin longevity company. by focusing on the cellular aspects of aging. OneSkin keeps your skin looking and acting younger for longer. Again, get 15% off at oneskin.co with the code newsworthy. After your purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them, so please support our show and tell them we sent you. Give your skin the scientifically proven, gentle care it deserves with OneSkin. Now back to my conversation with Zibby Owens. You've said that reading can create emotional connection and reduce loneliness. Why do you think books are especially important in today's fast-paced, tech-driven world?
Books allow us to slow down and put ourselves in someone else's shoes fully, not in like a virtual reality headset, but really thinking and feeling what someone else is going through. And we're all so busy and racing around and living up to society's expectations, and books can just help us reprioritize. Sometimes it means spending hours in someone's shoes who has a life full of suffering that they emerge victorious from, and it leaves you feeling inspired. There is not a book I've read that hasn't taught me something. I learn every day, I grow every day, and it enriches my life.
What patterns or surprises have emerged about the writing process, and what really makes a story resonate with its audience?
What really resonates with the audience, I think secrets. I think one of the best ways to really engage a reader is to have some sort of secret maybe the author has kept and is telling a memoir about the corrosiveness of that secret, or maybe the character is keeping a secret from you, the reader. But usually that is a huge hook. Not the only hook. And of course, love sells always. But I think a mix of secrets and love are one of the big tickets.
And your memoir, Bookends, mixes love, loss, and literature. So what inspired you to write it? Is there a secret in there? And what do you hope that readers walk away with?
I have some secrets. What inspired me to write it is I lost my best friend on 9/11, and since then I have tried many ways to write our story and her story and how I got through the loss and the grief and emerged on the other side of it. Eventually, it became a book in the form of a memoir that was framed around different books that I read throughout my life and how books became the lifeline for me, including through the time of loss with Stacy and with a lot of other people in my life. I've had a lot of grief and loss, and so I know life is short. It sounds trite, but it's very true. I treat every day like it could be my last, and I do everything quickly and try to get it all in. And I really wanted to share what I've learned and how loss changed me. And so I wrote about it in Bookends.
I am so sorry for that loss, and I appreciate you sharing that. And it is clear to me that your book is going to inspire a lot of people to not take life for granted, and also the value of books like we're talking about today.
Yes, I hope so.
So let's talk about some summer reading as spring is coming to an end soon and summer will begin. So I was thinking maybe you can share one book for each of like 3 or 4 categories that I'll mention. And then maybe at the end, we can hear from you just some of your favorites or recommendations for the summer. So let's start with one book that you think will help readers feel smarter or more informed.
There's a new book called Amplify by Adam Met, How to Use the Power of Connection to Engage, Take Action, and Build a Better World. I found this to be incredibly inspiring. Adam Met is a musician and also a huge environmental activist, and he really teaches us how we can develop a fan base for anything we care about in life.
What about one book that lifts someone's spirits, that they want to just feel happier?
The Summer We Ran by Audrey Ingram is a rom-com plus secrets, actually. It's about a teenage couple that breaks up after something terrible happens, and they reunite as grown-ups, both running for the governor of Virginia. So it combines politics and family and so much else, and it's a total escapist beach read.
What about one, I mean, this is similar, I guess, but like pure fun, great poolside read? It sounds like that one would be that as well, but let's get another.
I I just finished a book called The River's Daughter, a memoir by Bridget Crocker. And this is about how her time leading whitewater rafting trips and being a guide and her connection to nature and the river really helped her through so many things. And it's a coming of age story and totally immersive. And when I think about being by the pool or at the ocean, this water-filled narrative will really transport.
I love it. I will share, I just wanted a fun book for myself. So I recently started Remarkably Bright Creatures.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So how do you recommend in general that someone can find the right book for them each time they finish a different book? What questions can they ask themselves or other resources they can look at?
Well, I think they have to know what kind of mood they're in. And in my bookstore in Santa Monica called Zibby's Bookshop, we curate the whole store by emotion, books that make you lust, books that make you cry. Like sometimes you're just in the mood for something. So I think the first step is sort of taking your own book temperature, if you will. What am I up for? Maybe I just finished something like really heavy and literary and I just want something light where I'm somehow in Venice, Italy, and there's someone cute there. I don't know, something. I think first, what are you in the mood for? And then you can search by that. I think also following people through their newsletters or on social or just asking friends whose opinions you trust. I have friends, this is now my whole business, and they still just text me and they're like, okay, enough with all the book recommendations. Seriously, what should I read on vacation? And I'm like, no, really, those are the books I would tell you to read on vacation. So I just type them in a text for my friends. But I think that once you are in the mode of reading, it's kind of like exercise. I say from my distant memory, where the more you do it, the more in shape you get, and the more you find yourself almost looking forward to the release that you can get from that activity. And then you get to know which instructors you like at the spinning class. It's the same thing for authors. And if you love one type of book, if you want a smart, fun rom-com and you like authors like, I don't know, Emma Gray and Jane Costello and Emily Henry and Annabelle Moynihan, that whole genre, then you can find books that are similar to those books. You can find out also by who blurbs people's books if you want to get really technical. But on the cover of most books is someone else who is saying something nice about it, and on the back cover and all that. Those books you might really like because they liked the book you loved. So I would try that as well.
And I guess my thought is that if somebody clicked play on this episode with the title about summer reading, they're probably interested in more books. And so if they're not already exercising that muscle of reading, I would imagine that now is a great time to start.
And it gets, much stronger in just a few pages. You don't actually have to lift weights to do this. And I curated a whole long list. So if you don't like these couple that I'm recommending now, I have a whole list sorted in lots of fun categories of summer reads on zibbyowens.com. And you can also download it on zibbymedia.com. And you will have all the summer reads you could possibly want, sorted by even things like what location you feel like visiting. If you want to go to Paris versus Amsterdam, there's a book for that. If you want a coming of age, if you want to read about midlife marriage, I have books for that too. So that is the ultimate list.
I love that. We will definitely link in our show notes to all of those things so people can go grab that list. Thank you. Anything else you want to add or just a final thought?
A final thought is make books a part of your summer, not because you feel like you should, but because chances are it will make things better, and try a new way of relaxing. So visit a local independent bookstore, check out a new book, follow a few authors on social, and just get into authorland and see if you like it.
Well, thank you so much to Zibby Owens for sharing her passion and recommendations today. Be sure to check out her podcast called Totally Booked with Zibby, or sign up for a Substack at zibbyowens.com. Thank you so much for listening today. I hope you feel inspired and ready to pick up a good book for the summer. As always, join us again right here at The Newsworthy for your 10-minute daily news roundups every Monday through Friday. We'll be keeping you informed in our fast, fair, fun style all summer long. So we'll be back on Monday. Until then, have a great rest of your weekend.